You've studied English grammar for years. You know all about verb tenses, prepositions, and sentence structures. But when the moment comes to actually speak with someone in English, suddenly your mind freezes. The words just won't come out and you start to panic. Sounds familiar, doesn't it? The frustration is real, and here's the surprising part: grammar isn't your real problem. The truth is, the number one reason you're still struggling to speak naturally isn't found in textbooks. It's something deeper, something most language learners overlook completely. And until you understand this hidden obstacle, you'll keep feeling stuck, shy, and unable to express yourself clearly in real life conversations. But today that's going to change. In this video, I'll reveal exactly what this hidden barrier is, and more importantly, I'll show you how to finally overcome it. By the end of this video, you'll know precisely how to move beyond grammar rules and start speaking English confidently, naturally, and fluently. If this resonates with you, go ahead and hit the like button right now. When you do that, you're telling YouTube, this is exactly what I need. And YouTube will show you more videos just like this, making your journey to speaking natural English even smoother. Welcome to Stories to Learn English, the channel where your English gets better every day. Hit subscribe and let's get started. So, what's holding you back isn't your grammar. It's what I call the illusion of fluency. You've learned the rules and you can read and write in English. But fluency, the kind that helps you make friends, lead meetings, or share your story, lives in a totally different world. That's because most of us learn English in a controlled environment. We write sentences, we fill in blanks, we repeat phrases from a textbook that no one in real life actually uses. You might have said something like, "It is raining today," or "I would like to order a beverage, Kasten," when in real conversations, people simply say, "It's pouring," or "Can I grab a drink?" That's the textbook trap. It creates artificial confidence. You feel ready until you meet a native speaker who talks fast, uses slang, and jumps topics in a flash. Suddenly, your grammar isn't helping. You need rhythm, not rules. And here's something most learners completely overlook: nonverbal language, body posture, facial expressions, hand gestures, and especially your tone of voice can change the meaning of your words entirely. A simple really can mean curiosity, disbelief, or even sarcasm, depending on how you say it. These are the invisible layers of fluency. And once you start noticing them, you'll realize that real communication is more than words. It's energy, emotion, and intention. That's why sounding natural has less to do with your grammar score and more to do with how well you connect. And the good news? These are skills you can train, just like any muscle. Because when you start paying attention to how people speak, not just what they say, your English transforms. It becomes alive. And now that we've exposed the illusion, it's time to add the flavor. Because every fluent speaker knows that real English isn't just correct, it's colorful. Think about your native language. When you talk to your friends or family, do you always speak in complete, formal sentences? Probably not. You use expressions, little jokes, shortcuts, things that feel natural. English is the same. That's where idioms and slang come in. They're not just decorative, they're essential. Idioms give your speech flavor. They help you express big ideas with just a few words, like saying, break the ice instead of start a conversation in an uncomfortable situation, or hit the nail on the head when someone makes the perfect point. Slang, on the other hand, helps you sound current. It's the difference between saying, I am feeling very tired, and simply saying, I'm wiped. Native speakers use these phrases every day. And when you understand them, you don't just understand the words, you understand the culture, the humor, the mindset. And here's something powerful. Using the right phrase at the right time creates what I call the catchphrase effect. You say something like, you got this, or that's on point, and people instantly connect with your energy. It's a shortcut to sounding authentic, but more importantly, it helps you feel confident. You're no longer translating, you're expressing. So if you've ever felt like your English sounds too formal or robotic, idioms and slang are your secret weapons. They add emotion, identity, and rhythm to your speech. And once you've got the words that make people listen, you need the tools to start those conversations. Let's explore how to go beyond small talk and dive into dialogue that actually matters. One of the biggest fears English learners face isn't grammar, it's knowing how to start. You've probably been in a situation where you wanted to talk, but your mind went blank. So you said, how are you? And the conversation died right there. To move past small talk, you need better entry points. Instead of asking questions that lead to one word answers, try ones that open doors. Ask, what made you smile today? Or, what's something exciting happening in your life right now? These questions feel human. They invite stories. But starting is just one part. The real magic happens when you listen, not just nodding or waiting to speak, but truly paying attention. That's what we call active listening, responding to what the other person is saying, asking follow up questions, and showing that you care. This creates connection. It makes the person feel seen and it keeps the conversation flowing naturally. And when you ask thought provoking questions, you don't just practice English, you learn about people. Try asking, if you could live anywhere in the world, where would it be? Or, what's one thing you've always wanted to learn? These kinds of questions lead to deeper, more meaningful conversations. And that's where real language learning lives. Because the goal isn't just to speak, it's to connect. And connection starts with curiosity. But what about those moments when fear takes over, when anxiety whispers, don't mess up? That fear is real, but so is your potential. Let's talk about how to silence that fear and speak anyway. Fear is the silent barrier. You know what you want to say, but something holds you back. Your heart races, your mind second guesses every word. What if I say it wrong? What if they don't understand me? But here's the truth, fluency isn't about perfection, it's about progress. Native speakers make mistakes too. They forget words, change sentences midway, or say the wrong thing. The difference? They keep talking. Confidence isn't something you're born with, it's something you build, one sentence at a time. And the only way to build it is to speak, even when it feels uncomfortable. The key is to embrace imperfection. See your mistakes not as failures, but as signs that you're learning. Every awkward pause, every misused word, it's a brick in the foundation of your fluency. And don't wait for the perfect moment. Practice regularly, even if it's just 5 minutes a day. Talk to yourself, record your voice, join conversation groups. The more you speak, the more natural it becomes. Think of confidence like a muscle. It only grows with use. And every time you choose to speak, even with fear, that muscle gets stronger. Because fluency isn't a gift, it's a result of courage effort and repetition. And once you're brave enough to speak, the next step is learning how to speak freely, without scripts, without planning. That's when English becomes not just something you know, but something you own. Fluent speakers aren't fluent because they memorize every line. They're fluent because they can improvise. They don't panic when the conversation shifts. They adjust, react, and flow. This is the art of impromptu speech, speaking without a script, without rehearsing, and still sounding natural. And yes, it's a skill you can learn. Start small. Every day, choose a random topic and talk about it for 1 minute. It could be your breakfast, a memory, or something that made you laugh. No planning, just speak. This builds the habit of thinking in English, not translating from your native language. But to truly capture someone's attention, learn the power of storytelling. People don't remember facts, they remember stories. Use a simple structure: what happened, what went wrong, and what you learned. That's it. It doesn't have to be dramatic. Even a story about missing the bus can be interesting if you bring emotion into it. Add details, use your voice, show how it felt, and don't forget the secret ingredient: humor and personal anecdotes. These make your speech relatable. They show your personality. When you share a funny or real life moment, you build a human connection. People lean in, they listen. These are the skills that turn you from a language student into a communicator. Someone who doesn't just speak English but uses it to inspire, connect, and lead. Because when your words come from you, not from a textbook, that's when people truly listen. And if you've come this far in the video, you already have the mindset it takes to grow. So let's bring it all together with one final thought, something you'll carry with you every time you speak. You've spent years learning how to write a perfect sentence. Now it's time to live one. Because real English isn't about passing tests. It's about sharing ideas, making memories, building relationships. It's about the moment someone laughs at your joke, nods at your story, or simply says, "I get you." And the truth is, fluency doesn't come in a flash. It's not a switch, it's a journey. One where your mistakes matter just as much as your successes. One where progress is invisible until one day you realize you just spoke and you didn't even think twice. So here's your reminder: you don't need perfect grammar to speak. You need courage, curiosity, and a little bit of practice every single day. You already have the knowledge. What you need now is trust. Trust in yourself and trust in the process. If this message resonated with you, like this video, so the YouTube algorithm knows what content actually helps you, and it can recommend more videos like this that will level up your English in real life. And tell me in the comments, what's one English phrase or situation you want to feel more confident with? Let's build this fluency journey together, one real conversation at a time. You're not just learning English anymore, you're becoming someone who lives it